Hey guys, hope you're doing well. They say hindsight is a wonderful thing, but I associate it with normally being a pretty painful thing. I should have bought that crypto. I should have bought that house. I should have taken my toast out the toaster a little sooner. But in this instance, I think I've done not too bad. And I want to discuss this in this video. It's happened to me, and I'm now looking at it through the lens of hindsight. And I think, you know what? I'm glad I didn't do this. So what didn't I do? Well, for those of you that follow the channel, and if you do, thank you very much indeed, you may remember that last year I was offered an all-hallowed sacred GT slot. But is it really a GT car? Well, the jury's out on that one. But the situation goes, I was speaking with Porsche last year, looking at options for replacing this Taycan with another car. Two options on the table, a 911 Turbo S, going back to ICE, or a Taycan Turbo GT. That's indeed if one was available. Word on the street was there would be 2 or 3 per dealers. And as we moved forward through the process, it became clear that there was maybe only 1 per dealer at best, if that. And further down the line, still, it seems like there were a very, very small, maybe double digits number of cars that came to the UK. And I got a call out the blue from my sales rep at Porsche, and he said, you know what, if you want a Taycan Turbo GT, you can have it, but you need to commit. And you need to spend your deposit, your 10 grand, to guarantee your slot. And of course we have to understand he's a sales guy with a quota to fill, so of course it is going to be driven by getting the closure of that sale. But I was super excited, massively excited about this opportunity, because it's a GT car. Jury's still out, I get that, but nevertheless it was indeed very exciting for me. Now, I was pretty much struggling to sleep that night, if I'm honest, because I was that excited about the prospect of owning a Taycan Turbo GT. I mean, the numbers on the car are absolutely mind-bending. Over 1,000 brake horsepower, right? And for 200 grand, 1,000 brake horsepower, compared to some of the competition out there, I think that's pretty good value. So super excited about the prospect of getting this car, speaking to a lot of folk about it. But as I woke up the next day, the doubt started to creep in. The thought process was very much, well, if I've been offered a GT car here, and my purchase history with Porsche is just this car, this one car, and it's an EV, then what does that mean for the bigger picture here? Plenty of other folk with much bigger purchase histories with Porsche must have been offered one of these cars, right? And indeed they had. And indeed they had turned the opportunity down. At least as far as I'm aware from the people I've spoken to. And there's a reason for that, I think, that it is just too much of a risk right now. Or at least it was back then, given the way Taycans were depreciating. And nobody really saw the Taycan Turbo GT with its 4 doors as a proper Porsche GT car. So I guess that's fundamentally the reason why I ended up with a build slot. A build slot I declined. Now, we did the finance numbers on what was available at the time, a Taycan Turbo S. The GT wasn't quotable at the time. Hadn't even been released, wasn't in VWFS's books. So we did some finance numbers on that, and they were hideous. It was over double what I'm paying on this right now. I think just over double. And the GFV was terrible. Expected, right? Because we were in that situation and we all knew about how well these things depreciated. So, looking at those numbers, there's no way at all I could have made it work. And you kind of think there was a few rumours floating around that when the Taycan Turbo GT was released, it would probably, or could potentially go for maybe even 100 grand over. No chance. Absolutely no chance of that happening at all. So you can't flip it for a quick buck either. Now, Fast forward to today, 2025, right now, and yes, there are indeed Taycan Turbo GTs out there for sale. Some new, 200k car new, some already being offered with discounts. If I look at Auto Trader now, there are 7 cars available. That's up from the 5 which were present when I did a video just last week on this. So that's another 2 in the mix right now. Some of those new ones being offered with 20k off. So they're already depreciating. But I wanted to call out this specific example here. I think it's in Perth. Being sold with just over 2,000 miles on the clock for £149,000. That is a massive 50 grand depreciation in probably about 6 months or so. I don't know exactly when that car was registered, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't that long ago. So this could give the Taycan Turbo GT the mantle of the fastest depreciating Porsche GT car we've ever seen, and shaping up to be quite a bargain if you're looking at buying one of those used. It's going to be one hell of a car for your money. There's absolutely no escaping that for sure. But I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What do you think about the Taycan Turbo GT as a GT car? Is it really a GT car? Because plenty of folks saying, you know what, it just doesn't count. Too many doors, wrong powertrain. No sir, it doesn't. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments on this. And hindsight now, where I am right now, having not taken an allocation, I'm honestly very, very grateful indeed, because I would have been tied into a pretty hideous finance agreement, no way of getting out of the car without buying myself out at significant loss, given where we're at. Now, just wanted to dig into that used car being sold for 149k. Why is it so cheap? It's only got 2,000 miles on the clock. Doesn't look like an ex-press car, because I think the press cars had the Visac pack and the no rear seats. This one's got rear seats, but could be wrong, could be a demo or a press car, who knows. But it's an awful lot of money off. Now, don't forget how EVs are purchased. A lot of them are purchased by businesses. Indeed, business owners are buying these cars. And if you're buying it through the business, it needs to be new to get that 100% capital allowance, first year capital allowance, offset against your profits. Needs to be a brand new car. If it's used, it simply will not count. So that car is used. It's had one owner, so it wouldn't qualify for that first year allowance. I think you'd only get 18% through HMRC. Very nice 911 Dakar back there. So my guess is they know no businesses are going to buy this, so they're having to make it appeal to the rest of the public. And my guess is that is why it's so cheap, because the dealer knows that no businesses are going to want this because it's lost that new car status. So it's going to have to appeal to a private buyer potentially, and to do that it's going to have to be competitive, and to do that it needs to be cheap. And that is why I think you're seeing this GT car with just 2,000 miles on the clock being offered with 50k off. And I honestly thought it was a pricing typo. Part of me still thinks it is, but at 150k after just 6 months or so, how low can this get? How low can this car get? It's very, very interesting indeed, and one I'll be watching very closely over the coming months. That's it for this one. Do stay safe, stay well, see you on the next one, and bye for now.